Hello and welcome back to ERU, where we round up the biggest results and talking points from across the continent. Another great weekend of European action. But how was your weekend, Michael McCubbin?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad, dude. It wasn't too bad. We were just discussing. It started snowing again in London, but didn't get quite enough on Sunday for it to be suitable for a nice snowy walk. So a little bit annoyed about that. A little bit annoyed about the way that the Man United-Everton game ended on Saturday evening. Quite happy to see Alisson, with a couple of blunders against City. That kind of brightened my day, to be honest. So yeah, all in all, not too bad, Dukes. How are you?
Yeah, good. A sort of mixed result for my teams as well. Scotland beat England quite comfortably in the rugby in a great display, but Sunderland dropped points against MK Dons and are now outside the playoff spaces in League One. But let's leave English football and League One away, because this is ERU and no one cares about League One as it is. But we are kicking off the show with our winner this week, which is Cristiano Ronaldo. At the suggestion of Swagato is back. What went down, McCubs?
Yeah, he's had quite the week, hasn't he, Cristiano? Obviously, he scored a brace, didn't he, against Inter Milan in the Coppa Italia semi-final. That puts them in a great position for the second leg. And hopefully some silverware in Andrea Pirlo's first season. And then, against Roma on the weekend, scored another as the Bianconeri won 2-0, with the other coming from an Ibanez strike past his own keeper. The Portuguese legend turned 36 on Friday, but he's showing no signs of slowing down as he netted his 23rd goal in 24 appearances this term. He's now the top scorer in Serie A with 16 goals in 17 games. That's 2 more than Lukaku, Ibra and Immobile. And he's averaging a goal contribution every 76 minutes, and also has 20 goals in all competitions for the 15th consecutive season. What a record that is. Joint second in the scoring charts, of course, is Zlatan Ibrahimovic with 14, although he's only played 12 games. And that leads us on to our title question. Who's having the better season? I think it's quite tough to choose between the two. I feel like difficult one with Zlatan having missed so much, but being so clinical when he's been on the pitch. I don't know. I'm more surprised by Zlatan's season, just how well he's done. With Cristiano Ronaldo, it seems a formality now that he's just going to be incredibly prolific. But Dukes, what are your thoughts? Who would you pick out of the two as having a more standout campaign?
Yeah, I think despite what the table suggests, I think Juventus have the much better squad and were probably expected to do better this campaign. I feel like AC Milan are probably a bit further ahead of where we thought they were going to be in terms of their development, and fair play to them. They put together a magnificent title charge and look sort of odds on alongside Inter Milan. It'll be one of those two probably most likely. Morata has also stepped up for Juventus at times this year, and it hasn't just been the Cristiano Ronaldo show. Chiesa's come into it as well, Bernardeschi. Whereas AC Milan without Zlatan, they did very well without him results-wise, but it wasn't going to... I don't think they'd be in the title mix without Zlatan. So on the basis of that alone, I'm going to go with Zlatan having the better season. But it's tight. They've both been magnificent.
Yeah, it's a tough one. And you say that it's kind of between the two Milan clubs, but Juve are now, 7 points off the top. They've got a game in hand as well. So I think I'm not writing them off just yet by any means. If the display was anything to go by against Roma, though, it wasn't exactly a Champions display, was it? They had 48% of the ball. They only had 3 shots in total, 2 on target. Obviously, both of those going in. Roma had 14 shots by comparison, and 3 on target. However, the Giallorossi really struggled to put that defence, or struggled to put Szczesny at least, under any real pressure. They only created 0.65 XG to Juve's 0.25, so far from a classic game this. And one in which Juve are certainly probably can count themselves a little bit fortunate to have come away with such a comfortable victory. Pirlo won't mind those. This carries on a very solid run of form, doesn't it, for the Bianconeri? They've won their last 6 games in all competitions. They've won 6 of their last 7 in the league. Scored 16 in that 16 in that time, and conceded just 5. So all in all, they do look a more solid unit, I think. And with the likes of Kulusevski, Chiesa, like you say, Morata really coming into form. I think, they can look forward to what will hopefully be a pretty consistent kind of final 2-3 months of the campaign. Inter's 2-0 win over Fiorentina on Friday, and AC's 4-0 win over Crotone means they stay 7 points off the top, like I was saying. But yeah, that game in hand, is all important. I do think they can stay the course of the title race, even if they don't win the title at the end of the season. They're now 2 points ahead of Roma in third, having played a game less as well. So kind of fears over Champions League qualification as well, I think, are fairly low at the moment. Roma, Napoli and Lazio all kind of battling it out in that kind of 4th, 5th, 6th area, aren't they? I think that's going to be a really, really tight battle. Probably backing Napoli just about out of those three. But Dukes, not been a great week, has it, for Paulo Fonseca and Roma?
No, not been a great period, really. I mean, he had a bust-up with Edin Dzeko following their Coppa Italia defeat to Spezia, and they've now lost 3 of their last 5 games in all competitions, including a 3-0 loss to arch-rivals Lazio, who have been pretty inconsistent, along with Atalanta as well, another name that we didn't mention just at the end there, who seem to take 1 step forwards, 2 step backwards on a regular basis, haven't really got their season going at all. But back to Roma, because they were without captain Lorenzo Pellegrini for this match, their newly elected captain, following Dzeko's demotion, as it were, and the injured Smalling and Pedro. But they sort of struggled to get Borja Mayoral, who had actually scored 3 and assisted 1 in his previous 2 games into the game. 0 dribbles, 1 key pass, and 0 shots from him on the night. And while their 25-year-old right wing-back, Karsdorp, also struggled to deal with Alexandra as well. He's been very good since coming into the side, but he wasn't at his best here. 0 tackles and interceptions, 2 dribbles, 0 key passes, and the first goal from Ronaldo actually came from Alexandra down the left-hand side, having far too much space and time as well. And it was interesting that after starting De Ligt and Demirbay against Inter, Paulo went with the tried and trusted duo of Chiellini and Bonucci in this game, and they comfortably dealt with Roma's threat, really. 9 of Roma's 14 shots came from outside the area, but as McCubs said, it wasn't a vintage attacking display from Juve, but they'll take the win. And they continue their quite solid record in the big games this season as well. Obviously beat AC Milan, I think was that in December time now? Time is just sort of stalling at the moment. I can't exactly remember that was as well. Lost to Inter Milan, obviously, but this was a fantastic result for them. But despite Ronaldo's very well taken goal, I'm actually going to give man of the match to Adrien Rabiot. 5 tackles and interceptions from him, 1 aerial duel, and completed every single one of his 53 attempted passes. So 100% pass success rate. Really, really good work from him, along with Artur in the middle of the park, and then it was McKennie and Chiesa, or maybe it was Kulusevski on the wings, actually. But it's a massive few weeks now coming up for Juve as well. They've got the second leg of their semi-final against Inter on Tuesday, as we said. They've got Napoli away next weekend, and then the first leg of their last 16 tie against Porto next week. And with that set up against Porto, who are not struggling so much in the Primera Liga, but they are, behind Sporting by a fair gap now. This is a massive opportunity for Juve to reach the quarterfinals and maybe spring a few shocks along the way. I don't think anyone thinks they're going to win the Champions League this year, but I wouldn't rule out a quarterfinal, maybe a semi-final place just yet, with no one in Europe looking particularly convincing at the moment, except for Atletico Madrid and Bayern. And obviously Man City have come into great form in the league, but weren't probably at their best in the Champions League in the early stages. So it's going to be an absolutely fascinating last couple of stages of the Champions League. How far do you guys think Juventus can go? Let us know in the comments down below, and let's move on to our loser.
Our loser this week comes from @Sean15 Mackenzie Dukes. What happened to Los Beticos?
Yeah, it wasn't great from Real Betis. They were 1-0 up at home to Barcelona, but ended up losing 3-2 thanks to an 87th minute Francisco Trincao winner, with the other goals coming from Borja Iglesias, Victor Ruiz, Messi, and a very unfortunate Victor Ruiz own goal as well, which we'll come on to. But after 3 wins and 2 draws in their previous 5 games, Manuel Pellegrini will be gutted that they couldn't hold on to the lead after scoring an excellent goal on the counter-attack, actually, through Iglesias, who ended up knocking it in after good work from Fekir, in the build-up. That's his 4th goal in his last 3 games, Iglesias, after scoring 1 in the 13 beforehand. So not a great season from him, at least consistency-wise. But Pellegrini should be able to take solace from the fact that Koeman was forced into putting Messi onto the pitch in the 57th minute for Riqui Puig, who didn't have a great game. And the game was changed instantly, pretty much. He scored 2 minutes later. He then helped create the Ruiz own goal with a delightful through ball to Jordi Alba. And it was a pretty unfortunate own goal, is it? Griezmann, from that Jordi Alba cutback, sort of miscued his shot. It ended up going behind him, hitting Victor Ruiz and nestling into the net. Although Victor Ruiz then did, make amends for it somewhat by heading in a Fekir free kick 7 minutes later. But it was still a fairly even game. Betis had just 36% of the ball, but created 8 opportunities with 5 on target to Barca's 12 and 4. And XG suggests Los Beticos were actually slightly unlucky too, rating it at 1.9 to 1.3 in their favour. The good news for Betis, though, is that the teams below them didn't gain on them. So Levante and Granada drew in a game between themselves, and Athletic Club versus Valencia also ended in a 1-1 draw as well, meaning they stay in 7th position, 5 points off Real Sociedad, who thrashed Cadiz this weekend. But McCubs, it's all pretty rosy for Barcelona right now.
Yeah, I mean, on the pitch at least, they're looking pretty good, aren't they? Obviously, amid kind of financial meltdown and the upcoming presidential elections that could have huge ramifications for the futures of Messi and Ronald Koeman as well. They're doing pretty well. Ronald Koeman is doing all he can to prove that he's up to the job. 11 games unbeaten in La Liga now. They've won 9 of those games, won their last 6, scored 15 and conceded 5 in that time. And of the last 33 points available in La Liga, only Atleti on 30 have taken more than their 29. Real are on 26. So actually, in terms of the last kind of month or two, the top 3 in La Liga, really, there hasn't been too much to choose between them. And it's now looking more and more likely like that kind of first 6-week period where both Barca and Real, particularly Barca, were performing so badly. And Atleti were just getting result after result. Does look like that period of time is going to be what eventually wins Atleti the title if they manage it. But yeah, Barca are now second. They're ahead of Real on goal difference. They're only 7 behind Atleti, although they do have 2 games in hand, one of which is tonight against Celta Vigo at home. But in terms of this game, I think there's a few players to shout out. Credit to Jordi Alba for creating 4 chances. And of course Trincao for scoring his first Barcelona goal in his 27th appearance. What a goal that was as well. Go and check that out if you haven't already. Coming up clutch just at the right moment. Absolutely unstoppable. And then other great performances from Ousmane Dembele. 2 interceptions, 5 dribbles, 3 key passes, 3 shots as well. Assisted Trincao's winner, although can't take too much credit for that. But the man of the match was definitely Messi, wasn't it? Came on and instantly made an impact, as we've seen him do on many occasions throughout his career. In his 33 minutes on the pitch, 3 dribbles, 2 key passes, 2 shots, and 1 goal. And props as well to Koeman as well, because he really did make quite a bold move. Took off Puig, like you were saying, for Messi, but also in that same moment took off Pjanic for the eventual match winner Trincao. So yeah, props to him, because those 2 substitutions obviously made all the difference on the night. And we were talking about the XG there. I think it's maybe being a little bit harsh on Barcelona to say they were lucky in that sense. I think they were, Griezmann was probably lucky for that goal to have gone in, having really messed up the finish. But you can't really account too much, or at least you can't kind of put Messi's brilliant strike and Trincao's brilliant strike too much down to luck. I think ter Stegen made a great save from Fekir in the first half, didn't he? And I think that's probably where Real Betis will feel slightly hard done by in terms of their chance creation, not maybe getting them the rewards that they perhaps deserved. But I think in the end it was a deserved victory for Barcelona, in so much as they had 2 players who just 2 world-class moments, really, wasn't it, from Messi and Trincao. But as for Messi, he now has 9 goals and 2 assists in his last 10 games. On absolute fire, isn't he? And just as well, because they've got a big few weeks ahead of them, don't they? Barca, Sevilla at home in the Copa del Rey semi-finals, first leg on Wednesday, Alaves at home next weekend, and then they welcome PSG next Tuesday. So yeah, what could be a really pivotal couple of weeks now for Ronald Koeman on his quest for silverware at the Camp Nou. But we want to hear from you guys. What do you make of Barcelona's recent form? Do you think there's any chance they can get back into the title race? I'm not so sure, despite recent form. But let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Let's move on to our star of the week.
So our star of the week this week is Kerem Demirbay at the suggestion of @BuyerBeastUp99. But McCubs, we also want to shine a light on someone in Ligue 1.
Yeah, Alexander Golovin. Go and check out the highlights of the Monaco Nimes game if you haven't already. Absolute thriller, and yeah, Golovin was on absolute fire. 3 goals and an assist. Yeah, pretty amazing stuff from the Russian. So go and check that out. But we're focusing on Demirbay today because yeah, he put in a magnificent display as well. 2 goals in Bayer Leverkusen's 5-2 victory over Stuttgart, who have otherwise been pretty impressive this season, haven't they? In a win that moves them up to 5th, but just 3 points off 3rd place Wolfsburg. So the race for Champions League place is very much on in the Bundesliga. Yeah, he just had a fantastic all-round game, didn't he? 5 tackles, 1 dribble, 1 key pass, 7 shots, and 2 goals, obviously. I think I was heard in commentary that I think he'd scored 2 in his last 45 games or something for Leverkusen, 2 goals in this game, so he's really kind of setting up a precedent for the rest of the season, hopefully. First goal was excellent, wasn't it? Flicking over the keeper on the volley after a save from Diaby, so fantastic, as good a rebound as you'll ever see. And the second just stuck it through the keeper's legs after being played in by Bailey. Yeah, just Leverkusen just ticking along very nicely in attack, weren't they? Real free-flowing stuff, kind of stuff we've kind of been quite used to seeing from them over the last kind of season and a half. But yeah, great team display. 24 shots to Stuttgart's 13, racked up 4.6 XG to Stuttgart's 1.3. So very, very dominant display. Very rare that you see XG go above the 4.0 mark. So yeah, really, really good stuff from Bayer. And yeah, this was a big win for them, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, because they haven't been in the best of form. So they've only won 1 of their previous 7 league games going into this, with 5 defeats, slipping from 1st on the 16th of December to 5th prior to this game. I actually think I remember the 16th of December. I think that's when they went into a game against Bayern Munich, and they lost in the final few minutes with Jonathan Tah and Radetzky having a bit of a shocker. I seem to remember Jonathan Tah was at fault for both goals, and since then their form hasn't really recovered. So this was a massive, massive win for them. And it wasn't just Demirbay who had a great display. Both their wingers were excellent as well. Diaby created 5 chances, Bailey 4. They've got 12 league assists between them this term. And in terms of, for those Premier League fans like us, or at least fans based in England, it was great to see Timothy Fosu-Mensah have a pretty solid game at right back, ex-Man United of course, and Damari Gray came off the bench to bag a goal on his debut too, and he also had 3 shots. But shout out to Stuttgart as well. There's Wamangituka, I think his name is, looks like a fantastic prospect, and I've seen Spurs consistently linked with Nico Gonzalez, but if I was them, or if I was anyone, I'd be looking at Wamangituka. Easy for you to say. He looks like a really, really good prospect, and for a team just newly promoted to the Bundesliga, they've been really entertaining. They're kind of like, in terms of their style of, well, not necessarily in terms of their style of play, in terms of their output this year, similar to Leeds, concede loads of goals, score loads of goals, really good fun. So well done to Stuttgart for adding so much to the Bundesliga, and shout out Demirbay for another magnificent display. But guys, that's all we've got time for on ERU for this week. What did you guys think of the stories that we covered? Who do you think crucially has had a better season between Cristiano Ronaldo and Zlatan Ibrahimovic? That's the big debate we want to see answered this weekend in the comments section. And McCubs, if they've enjoyed this, what should they go and watch now?
Well, they should go and check out the Football Pyramid final from Saturday. Myself against Christopher Hamill in a rerun of many Stat Wars finals. So, yeah, really treating you this time. It was a really good game. It came down to the wire. I'm not going to reveal who won because that would be ruining it, wouldn't it, for anyone who hasn't seen it yet. So make sure you go and check that out right now. And then go and check out, our scout reports, our EFD Explains. There's lots of good stuff out there at the moment.
Absolutely. Loads of content across all our 3 channels even. Thank you so much for watching again. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time. Bye!